Hello, welcome to The Good Life, what it is and how to achieve it. I'm your host, Michael Parkman, and this week we're going to talk about emotional slavery. Now, we're all familiar with slavery, the 1619 Project when slaves were first brought over to the New World, and even before in the biblical times, there's physical bondage. But emotional slavery is different because it gives you the illusion of being free, when in fact, you most certainly are not. Now, I can hear the impassioned pleas of you all saying, I'm free, I do what I want. But that same passion convicts you of the slavery that you are denying. Let me explain. We are driven by lust, greed, envy, anger, all of the passions that as a human being we experience. Now, when there are no stirrings of these passions, we are said to be in a state of equilibrium. But when these passions are aroused and they act in their due degree, we are then in a state of harmony. It's a circle. Now, the problem comes when these passions run amok, when they are the driving force behind your actions. When reason, common sense, and right-mindedness goes out the window and the passions take control. And it is in that moment that you are enslaved. It is imperative that we understand that anything that has you act contrary to your nature, contrary to common sense, is your master. Just as if when people of color were in bondage, they were forced to do all sorts of things against their will. They were in bondage. The difference between physical bondage and mental bondage is that physical bondage can be removed. You can take the chains off. You can unlock the prison cell door. Mental enslavement is craftier because it gives you the illusion of being free. It gives you the illusion of making your own decisions. And when that illusion is burst, you then go to blame. I did it, but it's because someone else did something else. I wouldn't have done whatever it is if they hadn't done whatever they did. So then it's now their fault. It's not your fault. We have learned to not take responsibility. You see it in the courtroom every day. Someone goes into court and they're as guilty can be, and everybody knows it. And one of the defense attorney's job is to bring in reasonable doubt. So then he brings in all of the witnesses and all of these things that really have nothing to do with the guilt, but it's somebody else's fault. This person was abused as a child. They had no decent upbringing. But the end result of that is that it's not their fault. So either they should be set free or given a lesser sentence because society did not treat them well. They didn't have the advantages of other members of society. But that eliminates personal choice, that responsibility, greed, want of things, a desire for some object prompted you to lose your mind and decide that I want to steal this because I just have to have it. I don't have the money for it. I really don't want to work to get the money for it. I just want it. So I'm going to steal it. And you get caught. You go to court. Oh, my upbringing was bad. I didn't have a father. I didn't have a mother at home. You know, we were living hand to mouth. All of that might be true, but you had to make the choice to take the action that you took. Your want of that object made you a slave to your desire. Your want of a companion allows you to look past the abusive behavior of your companion because you want to have someone. Your want of the nicer things in life prompts you to cut corners, steal, embezzle. You are a slave to your passions. What I want to emphasize to you today is that you have control of your passions should you choose to use it. If you let your passions take you wherever they will, you are going on instinctive behavior. An animal acts on instinct. An animal sees something, it goes after it, and after it gets it, or if it doesn't get what it goes after, they move on to the next thing. They don't suffer regret. They don't feel bad that it didn't happen. They don't plot on the next thing or how to get it again. They just go on to the next version or the next thing in their life. We as humans, we look back on the past and regret that we didn't do something or that we did do something. We worry about the future, how it's going to turn out, all the while ignoring the present. And the present says, hey, if I'm going to live a good life, I need to make the right decisions now, which means when you're presented with that shiny object, that new whatever it is, that's seemingly unattainable object that you just have to have to where you begin to consider doing wrong things in order to obtain it, you have to at least sit back and say, what are the consequences of this action? Who does it help? Who does it hurt? What will happen if I do this thing? If I react in the way that my first mind tells me to? If we can learn to stop before we act, step into that gap we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and say, you know what? I really want this object. But if I break in and take it, or if I steal it, what do I have to worry about after that? Do I have to worry about getting caught? Do I need to worry about whether the person I'm stealing from surprises me and comes at me violently and something happens bad after that? Either I take their life or they take mine. We have to begin to think, especially in this day and age, what are the consequences to the actions that we take. Yes, you may be angry at someone and you want to get them told. But once you unleash that anger, stop to consider now they feel like they have to respond. And so if they respond in anger and you continue to spout your anger, it boils up into something that it probably shouldn't have to be and could be very dangerous, because neither one of you are in your right mind because you are both enslaved by anger. We worry about what other people think. We make a lot of decisions based upon what people will think if I don't react the way they might react in this situation. Well, I'm here to tell you that a lot of those people that encourage you to react in a certain way will not be there for you when you get caught. As a matter of fact, I can hear them now. I didn't make them do it. And if you go to jail because of what you did, I'm pretty sure they're not going to visit you there. And the excuse will be, oh, I can't stand to see my homie locked up like that. Yeah, you're doing the time because you listen to other people goad you on to impress them. And now you're caught up and they're going on with their lives. Okay, I'm going to digress for just a moment. And I want to talk about a situation that happened here in Columbus, Ohio within the last few days. Two young ladies were fighting. One went inside, got a gun, shot the other young lady twice, and the young lady subsequently passed away. It's been reported that they were fighting about a boy. Now you have two lives, one gone forever, and the other, your life is invariably changed. You're going to jail for many years. If you get out, you will not be able to live a normal and productive life. Your life is ruined. The people who love you's life is ruined. The deceased person's family's lives are changed forever because of the loss of their loved one, all because of anger about a boy. Well, guess what? The boy's still running around, and I will bet you $1 to a donut he's got his eye on some other girl. If not now, soon will be. Because you two who are fighting, one is dead and one's in prison. This is the result of unchecked anger. I am pleading with all of you to begin to consider the consequences of any action that you take. Pause. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to anybody on the outside. Think about what your actions will mean both to you, your adversary, your family, their family. And maybe, just maybe, you might decide that it's really not worth the initial reaction that I wanted to take. And then both of you have the opportunity to walk away and live. I implore you to take the opportunity whenever a situation comes up to stop. Take stock of the situation that presents itself. Look at it objectively. Take the time to think about what may happen if you take one action or another. Don't let your anger drive you to something that you can't come back from. Please do not be a slave to your passions. Do not be a slave to your habits. Use reason. Find someone that you can talk to, an older mentor, someone that will begin to give you the tools to be able to reason through a situation. Don't look to your peers, the same age group. I want you to live. Only God knows what your potential is. But you cancel that out when you take a life or when your life is taken. Please take the time to consider every action that you take. Take responsibility for your actions. Step away from situations. Learn to respect yourself. We holler a lot about respect, and you cannot expect everyone else to respect you if you don't respect yourself. So start by respecting yourself. Don't put yourself in situations that will lead you down paths you shouldn't go. Respect yourself. I'm asking you to do this because I want to see you live and thrive and ultimately get to the good life.